Hello and welcome back. Welcome back again, listener, to another enthralling symposium here at the Dual Screens podcast. Joining me this week, oh yeah, I'm Andy, by the way, in case you forgot what my name was. And this is the Dual Screens podcast, the world's #1 indie developer interview show, probably, likely, maybe, on all the podcast things. And joining me this week, who is laughing in the background because I'm just way too humorous today, is Hilary Craig, marketing manager over at Red Meat Games, developer of Sentience, a multiplayer stealth free-to-play sci-fi game out now in early access on Steam. Hilary, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing okay today. How are you?
It's hot. It's really hot.
Yeah. Is it hot there?
Yeah.
It's been where I'm in Ontario in Canada,
Mm.
and it's been quite a hot couple of weeks, but actually the last day or two, I mean, I use Celsius. It's been about 16 degrees Celsius, which I don't know Fahrenheit, so I can't convert that for you, but it's been chilly the last couple of days. So Canada, you know.
Right. Yeah, I just feel like I'm like right outside from the sun
Yeah.
sometimes. Because like this space has no air conditioning, so it's
Yeah.
just like I do all my shows from my office, which I had to make over the course of the last year from a spare bedroom, slowly buying furniture.
Yep.
And now it's like, oh, I should have bought an air conditioner. What a dumb dumb.
It's on the list.
Oh boy. All right, Hillary. Yeah, it is at some point. um, let's dive in to Sentience. But before we do that, I have a fun little question to ask you to sort of like get us in the mood, get us all chill, in a nice, comfortable headspace.
Cool.
I was browsing the Red Meat Games Twitter feed.
Mhm.
Just, I don't do much research when it comes to interviews. I go in fresh, I learn as we talk through our conversation with each other. But something kind of caught my eye,
Mhm.
and it was a bit of maybe a nosebleed moment for me. Like I was trying to make sense of something, and I want you to explain it if you possibly can.
Sure. Hopefully I can.
It is your pinned tweet, and it says,
Okay.
and I quote, "We're Red Meat Games.
Mhm.
We like eating ramen and making games." So I'm wondering where the red meat and the ramen eating sort of factor in. Because if you were like, we're Red Meat Games, we like filet mignon, is the best cut of steak.
Totally.
I'm just wondering why. What is it about ramen that is so exciting
Really good
to
question.
you guys?
And unfortunately, it was written by the community developer who was before my time. So let me dive back into the mythos, I think, a little bit on Red Meat Games. So the whole reason we're called Red Meat Games, let's start with that, is one of the owners or former owners of Red Meat Games was having a barbecue, and someone came up to him and asked, "What are you going to call your new game company?" And he said, "Red Meat Games." So it's a lot of people ask me, like, what's the mythos behind it? Where did it come from? And that's the story I've heard. I mean, I think that's the story that everybody has told me anyways. It was before my time, and I'm not entirely sure, but that's what it sounded like. And in terms of ramen, I think that was based on our Halifax team. So we have two teams, and our Halifax team, I believe they just love ramen. I believe there's a pretty good ramen place near our office in Halifax. So I think that might be partially like what's built into it. But honestly, that's just
Well,
purely a guess.
that was way more than I bargained for when I thought of that question about 10 minutes ago, like what to ask for the lead off. And I was like, oh,
No problem.
I was getting a fun answer. So thank you. Thank you for
I honestly don't. It's the mythos. It's the
yeah.
mythos of how it was all created. And
No,
yeah,
I love a good lore story,
totally. Me too.
So speaking about fun mythos and lore, Sentience.
Yes.
What is this fun, quirky looking Among Us type situation you got going on over here?
Totally.
Describe this for our listeners.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go through the spiel because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
marketing person and that's,
I know.
what I do. So Sentience is a free-to-play multiplayer stealth slash social deduction game.
Mm.
Like you were saying earlier, it's set in like a sci-fi kind of world. It's dystopian Earth, so there's a lot of dystopian stories. This one in particular is kind of investigating what happens when humans are gone after we've created AI. We've created all this AI to help run our world, and then once humanity is gone, what did the AI do? And basically, sentience is kind of the lore behind it is these robots just keep on doing what the humans programmed them to do.
Mhm.
But then there's some who achieve sentience in some way or another. So those robots who achieve sentience then want to escape, obviously, the, mind-numbingly fun tasks of running a factory or running a nightclub or running a fair or something like that. So that's kind of the lore behind it. So you can play as either a sentinel who uphold the status quo.
Mhm.
They're kind of the like big tough, I don't want to say police type robots, but kind of at that, they make sure that the status quo is
Right.
always
The enforcers,
um,
as it were.
enforcers.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there we go.
They walk around and they oversee these drones who are all operating and doing tasks and all this kind of thing. But there are particular rogues who have achieved sentience and are doing tasks that other drones are doing. But while they're doing those tasks, they're hacking terminals,
Ooh.
destroying delivery terminals, things like that, and trying to escape essentially this, their tasks and their duties as drones. So it's that kind of like constant struggle of, the enforcers trying to keep the rogues from escaping and destroying them, and the rogues trying to achieve freedom. So match lengths are about 7 minutes long, up to 4v4. And yeah, that's kind of sentience.
There's a lot to unpack there. I'm kind of still stuck
Totally.
on this whole the humans are gone and
Yes.
have the machines just doing these assigned tasks. Is it like an empty nightclub and it's being run by robots with no patrons, just doing this like we're washing the same dish over and over again? What, what is that environment
So I'm just nodding as you're saying that. I don't know if people can see me or not, but I'm
like?
basically nodding as Andy is saying that. And yeah, exactly. So robots, some of them have filled in the roles of nightclub patrons. So
Mm.
drones can go in and dance the night away on the stage.
Mm.
They can hang out with the DJ. They can go hang out at the tiki bar that's on the other side of the nightclub kind of thing. So yeah, so certain robots have filled in those human roles, but yeah, it's essentially just, I mean, it's not a ghost town because it's robots and they're kind of humanoid looking and you know what
Mm.
I mean? But
Mhm.
yeah, like it's just humanity's gone, but they've left that sort of um AI kind of to linger, right?
What
It's cool.
what took us out?
What took us out?
Yeah, what took us out?
It's a mystery. I honestly, I would have to ask our lead designer that one. But I don't think that's part. I don't even know if we've
Ooh, we
defined that
don't
part of the
know. We
story.
don't
Maybe that's a
know.
future DLC content where we can
Oh,
see. I don't know.
interesting. All right.
Yeah,
I see. I see. All right. So sort of walk us through the core gameplay loop.
totally.
We can go through both sides. See what does one side do versus the other side. The
Yeah.
enforcer types versus the rogues, as it were.
So let's start with the enforcer. So the Sentinel. So the Sentinel has abilities and perks that essentially are meant to be used to find the rogues who are trying to achieve tasks. So they've got abilities like uh, what's the word? Proximity detector. So
Mhm.
if a rogue walks through the proximity detector, it'll light up and it'll say this is a rogue that just walked by, and other kind of abilities like that. And then they have perks as well. So, if you eliminate the wrong drone, then you get timed out for a certain amount of time. So you can level up your perks and like reduce that amount of time and things like that. And there's other perks and abilities and much more details on that. But essentially, like, yeah, you're walking around the level and you're trying to find these rogues who are trying to escape the level. Essentially, that's your goal in any case, and to eliminate them. And then on the flip side is the rogues, which is one of my favorite things to play. And you're trying to simultaneously fit in, which is where the social deduction kind of comes in. You're trying to fit in and not alert the sentinels and get your tasks done, which do alert the sentinels so they know when you're sabotaging a terminal, for example, or blowing up a delivery station. So you're trying to do all these tasks and ultimately escape through the doors that that open up once you've finished hacking 3 terminals, delivering 3 boxes, whatever it is. So yeah, so that's kind of how the gameplay works a little bit. So those rogues walk around, try to blend in, get their tasks done, but the sentinels are always putting their proximity mines down. Proximity detectors down. I want to use the right terminology, and trying to find them and chasing them down whenever they achieve their tasks and goals.
What's beyond the door?
What's beyond the door?
Yeah,
Freedom. It's kind of a little bit like I would compare it to like Dead by Daylight, the doors and sort of that. So you escape essentially and you achieve freedom there. Yeah.
It's just an empty, barren wasteland. Now it's like you're free but lonely.
Yeah, well, there is a little bit of lore. I mean, it's not super deep, I will say, but there's a little bit of lore that there's a community of escaped rogues who are starting their lives outside of the, enforcement.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 4v4. So at one point you can have as many as 4 enforcers versus 4 of the rogues going on.
Yes, totally.
Wow. How do you find that balance between having too many of the rogues that are just fucking shit up like all over the map, as opposed to be like one person who's like the key bad guy who's like whatever.
Yeah. So a lot of what we've done in early access is balancing. So you can play test all you want and do things with your QA team and your development team, but you just don't seem to get sort of the like real gamer experience. I mean, we're all gamers, we all play games. That's why we make them, right? Because we enjoy them and love them. But getting people to play it and on a large scale has been super, like we've learned a lot. We have a Discord community where our community tells us like bugs and feedback, and they get back to us pretty well, and we really appreciate all that stuff. But the balancing has really been where we've been focusing, and we did find that like a balanced team, like 4v4 as the max kind of thing, and then 3v3 and 2v2 and 1v1 and whatever else kind of matches up. We found that it actually works quite well. There definitely are some like later level kind of abilities and perks that if you're a level 1 getting teamed up with like a level 20 person or something like that, it might be a little bit more challenging to play against each other, and the balance might be a little bit off. But as our community grows and we have more people and people at different levels and player abilities, it's kind of evens out a little bit. So a level 20 sentinel against a level 20 rogue, they have pretty good abilities. And once you're kind of at that point too, like you've played the game probably quite a bit. And you probably have some strategies for both. But yeah, I was actually surprised. I thought less sentinels than rogues, for example, would make it more balanced, but it's really quite balanced on both sides. Yeah.
I was going to ask, which side do you think wins more of the matches in terms of metrics? Like, are you seeing sentinels being more like the more dominant side, like winning most matches, or is it more on the rogue side?
I couldn't tell you. I could probably guess. I would guess that rogues probably win more, to be quite honest. Just because it is so difficult to kind of root out, like if a rogue is a really good player and they they kind of blend in really well. They kind of act like an AI really well. And they're really good at escaping. It's really hard to catch them. But at the end of the day, like I don't know, it could be pretty balanced. I'd have to look, I'd have to see what the analytics look like,
Yeah,
but
I'm
I honestly
curious
haven't
about
even
that.
looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been the most revealing thing for you guys so far in this whole early access phase of the game?
Good question. What's been most revealing? I think the positive response for me as a marketing person, anyways, the positive response we've gotten on the game was really, I don't know if that's like a revealing thing, but that's the most notable thing. I'm often as a marketing person really afraid of the community, like of gamers. Like I don't want to say that
Fair.
too much, but not that I'm afraid or anything, but just of, day one kind of response. Is it good? Is it bad? It can make or break your title. You know what I mean? So the fact that people really liked it pretty much right off the bat. I mean, we launched early access. You have bugs, you have issues, you fix them as you go, and you work towards your final launch. But everybody was really quite positive about it and really enjoyed playing it. So that was really, really nice for me, and really nice for the dev team, because you don't really know if it's gonna be something that people like and enjoy playing until you see them liking and playing it, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question,
Oh, it
but
totally does. Yeah, because I feel like for most folks, it's you don't worry about like reviews too much when you find like a solid community
yeah,
that can really spread the word. Like if it catches fire on a Twitch stream, for example,
totally.
it can help things. So, and again, gamers are, we're a critical bunch,
Totally, as you should be. I think
Right,
everybody should be
right.
critical of the
We speak
things
our
that they
minds
consume
very
and love. Yeah.
openly and freely,
Yeah,
with want and abandon, as it were.
totally.
And this is also your team's first foray into a free-to-play format.
Totally.
So what's that been like versus, you used to make games and charge, X amount of dollars. Now you're in this new format. What's that been like for you guys?
It's been a big learning experience, I would
Mhm.
say. Free to play, we have some experience with free to play in terms of mobile titles, which is almost the standard these days. Mobile is free to play, and then you have premium features within the app, or you have free level and then you unlock certain levels by purchasing. I would say the like balancing between satisfying the gamer experience and the large community with ensuring that um, that there's basically purchases happening so that we can continue supporting the game. I mean, as an indie developer, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's always a challenge to have a game come out and make money on it. I'll be totally honest with people. That's always the challenge of indies.
Mhm.
It's very different from triple A's. You can't stand up to triple A's. It's not competition. You often, they say, the like Steam lottery or whatever you want to call it,
Oh,
but
that pesky algorithm.
the pesky algorithm. So you're constantly changing your tags, you're constantly doing that stuff. So the nice thing about the free to play and it being multiplayer is that anybody can sign on, anybody can play it. You can invite your friends and you can play it. But then there's the challenge of obviously server costs and all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. So it's definitely been like a very interesting kind of experience. And, we don't have a business strategist manager, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
learning about monetization and learning about what matters to people and what you pay for and what you don't pay for. We've all heard the horror stories of what people want to pay for, what they don't want to pay for.
Way too often.
And also ensuring that, we have money coming in to keep supporting the game, right? So it's been a big learning curve, I would say, for a free to play indie title. But it's been really great because we really love the accessibility of games. and making sure that games are accessible to wide audiences, which is why we love the mobile kind of games as well. But yeah, Sentience, definitely a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. And it's we've kind of seen this kind of weird paradigm shift between what a free to play game is quality
Mhm.
wise. I feel like years ago, the term free to play meant low standard, low quality.
Yeah,
It was thrown together just, it's free. We'll throw in some, small monetization things. We'll make money on the back end that way. But now with games like Warframe or Apex Legends, I feel like free to play has shed that old idea of it's not a good game because you're not paying for it
totally. And
off the
Warframe is
bat.
a great example.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually just an hour down the road from where I am.
Oh, wow.
Um, and they're a great example of an indie game company that launched a really successful free to play kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think when it did launch, it was less about that Steam lottery, which everybody kind of has been talking about, at least
Mm-hmm.
since last year. Um, but it is like an example of a really, like you said, a really great game that's free to play with in-game monetization, and it's been super successful. And I think it will continue. Like I think a lot of the industry is shifting towards that free to play model. Like I know, like Fortnite and like you said,
Mm-hmm.
Apex Legends. It'll be an interesting shift, and I think the industry will have to shift a lot with it and relearn a lot of things. And I think a lot of that will come down to like community and marketing management, to be quite honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding um, what people are asking for and how to deliver that within a game that's not a premium title up front.
What do you see your user base mainly spending money on with
Uh,
Sentience?
we do exclusive kind of skins. So when we first launched, we had a founders pack skin, which is no
Mm-hmm.
longer available. Sorry, everybody, for mentioning it.
Oh,
But
here.
those, but we do exclusive skins here and there. So we'll launch a skin and it'll be available for a limited time only, and that's usually what people spend the majority of the in-game currency on. You can earn the in-game currency as well by playing the game, so it's not just purchasing as well. So just so people are aware of that. And then consumables are really great. So it's basically consumables and skins that are purchasable right now. And consumables are like XP boosts,
Mm.
like party boosts, so you can boost your XP and your party's XP,
Mm.
and that kind of thing. So I think the exclusive stuff has honestly been the best performers to date.
I always feel it's more flattering when someone pays you for content on a free to play game. Because,
Totally.
when you have like a standard game, it's like the cost is the barrier of entry. It's all right, I'll pay this
Yeah.
much to play your game.
Yeah.
You guys are like, listen, here's our game. It's awesome. It's fun. You can have it. Just take it, play it.
Yeah.
And if you
Take
want to
it.
give us some
Literally everybody
cash,
take it.
it's entirely up to you.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's fun, like I don't know. There's It's fun to just pick up a game and play it with your friends, and if you like it, you can keep on playing it and continue to play it, but at the end of the day, if it's not your bag, then you don't have to worry about getting a refund and moving on to the next thing, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
as much as I hope that people enjoy Sentience and keep on playing it, it's it is what it is, and that's the gaming world. It's not for everyone, right? So
Yeah. What's the most challenging thing for you as a marketing manager? Spreading the gospel of this game, getting to people's hands, getting those player counts up. What's that
yeah,
like for you?
for me, I think the most challenging thing as an indie, I'll be totally honest with you, is budget, straight
Mm-hmm.
up, for marketing. Because, like I said, we don't have the budget to compete with the AAAs. They've got, you know, many, many more dollars than we do to do ad campaigns and work with agencies to make high value trailers and things like that. I make most of our trailers, and my community developer makes most of our trailers, and we do all of our stuff basically grassroots.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a super big challenge, but I think it's also really rewarding that way, because the attention that we get is because of like our hard work and our sweat and labor, you know? So I would say that's been the most challenging thing, is coming up with solutions that don't involve money,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Right, because I'm getting a sense that you are the marketing budget. It's not like you're the marketing manager. Here's a buttload of cash. Go do your marketing thing with this cash. It's like, Hillary, it's just you. So
Yep.
just do stuff.
Me and my community developer,
Make
Jess, who's really
videos.
great. Oh yeah, totally. It's we are the marketing budget, totally. So it's a lot of, like you said, grinding and just kind of trying to get in the right place at the right time, being in the right place at the right time, talking about the right stuff at the right time. And yeah, I would say it's a struggle,
And
but
then
willing
on,
to do it.
on top of that, seeing success on a platform like Steam, which there's so much noise on that thing. It's so hard to find things that are of quality. There's just a lot of garbage, I would say, lives on Steam, unfortunately.
Totally.
And to see your game sort of like shine through all that rough sort of trash that's on there. What's that for you as a marketing manager, seeing that sort of feedback and response?
I mean, I don't think we've solved the equation of being like super successful or anything like that on Steam. Like, the super successful people like Among Us and I mean Fall Guys and all that stuff. And it's interesting, and I don't want to get into this, but the talk of like what is still an indie kind of company and all this stuff. But yeah, absolutely. There's so many games on Steam. I think I was talking to someone the other day, and it's like 30 new games on Steam every single day, and that number is just going up every single day. And you hear the big names, and that's kind of what you hear, unless you are a very niche player and you have, you know, the games that you go to. Oftentimes, like indie companies will deliver to those niches and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's really nice when someone picks up your game and plays it. And it's really gratifying when someone leaves a nice review on your game. And it sucks when people do bad reviews as well, but that's the world of gaming. And I would say I would say standing out from the noise is probably the biggest challenge. And I've read so many news articles and marketing articles and suggestions on how to beat the system and get in front of people and stuff like that. And you do the best you can, especially as an indie developer. And just keep pushing. That's all I can really say. Like, I think it was Among Us was 2 years old when it blew up. So it's not going to be like on your release day often that you're super popular. So just keep pushing.
And now they're charging like $50 for a collector's edition physical what's who's it. I'm like, wow, we've really gone a long way from our humble origins.
Absolutely. And it's all a business at the end of the day, right? Like, I think a lot of us forget that game companies are businesses. And indies, as much as we want to create like fun and interesting and cool titles with interesting art and interesting stories, at the end of the day, we're all people with jobs, right?
Right, because the main thing is like you want to make it. Listen, it's like the balance is make a game that you want.
There's a balance, yeah,
and also make a game that's going to sell and others would like. Not again, it's just for you specifically. Just why I don't.
Unless you've got like a giant bank behind you or something like that to keep on making games or whatever. Yeah.
I've always felt if I won the lottery, I would just go around just funding every passion project, like on be it a Kickstarter. I'd be like, you want here's your money, go make it. Or I'd be like, yo, Konami, make me a new Castlevania. Here's $1 billion. Just go do it. Get the right guys.
Yeah. That would be great.
So what's coming down the pipeline for this? A first patch came out. You guys are in early access. What's going to make this as a more complete looking game for you guys?
Yeah, so we actually are kind of nearing the end of our early access. So When we launched in early access, our intention for it was to see how people were playing the game, how they were interacting with it, what kind of new bugs came up in live servers and things like that. Because I think a lot of people don't realize like you're working on dev servers up until you launch, and then they're live servers, and then someone could be in Eastern Europe playing with someone in Brazil, and everything could implode. It's just very different from when you're all in Halifax and playing on, two PCs on the same internet connection.
Right.
So we've done a lot of testing, a lot of patches. So we went live early access March 25th. And we're soon kind of nearing kind of the end of that schedule. So we just launched Team Play, which is the ability to play with, so you can invite up to 4 friends to play with you and launch into a queue. So that's going on, and a couple of more features, but it will likely be soon. We don't have a date yet, but it will likely be soon that we'll be doing the final PC release. And we're also porting to PlayStation and Xbox at the same time. So looking forward to getting all that stuff out, and then also, of course, the live ops kind of updating of content, skins, fun stuff, learning from our community, what they're interested in seeing. Is it new levels? Is it new abilities? Is it new perks? What is it? And getting that feedback from people and continuing to update it, because it is a passion project, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned going over the consoles and the PlayStation, and I think I would be remiss to mention the recent quote unquote controversy surrounding PlayStation and indie devs and getting their games more visibility, more support and feedback. Have you seen any of this in your little marketing realm? Have you come across it in any way, shape, or form? Like paying $25K to get your game featured or promoted, or writing a blog post just to get a foot in the door?
Not me personally. I will admit that Sentience has been my first kind of game launch. So we're kind of still in the early stages of even talking to PlayStation and Xbox. I did see that kind of Twitter thread kind of pop up, which kind of, put some alarm bells in my head, because I'm very much a task-oriented person. I'm like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And like we were talking about, like indies just don't have that kind of money to be put out there. But I know, like, we have really great friends who just Clever Plays just launched Operation Tango in June.
Yes.
Which is a really great game. They're like a really great great friendly company with us. They're in Montreal in Canada, and the two owners of our companies, so both women-owned businesses, very good friends, and have stuck by each other for a long time. So I would be remiss not to mention them. And they were the free PlayStation Plus game for PS5 in June. So, I mean, it's like the Steam equation, right? Like,
Right.
There's just so much coming out, and I know it's always difficult, but yeah, I think the industry is moving towards more of an indie model than kind of a triple A model. And I think that the big companies will have to start kind of refiguring that out. I don't know what that is. But I look forward to seeing what they can help us out with, right? So
Right. And I just remembered I was going back and forth with Clever Plays for a while about
yeah.
getting them on the show. They just stopped
Oh,
to my emails for some reason.
Liz is great. I can reach out to her if you want.
Oh yeah. I'd be like, Andy is wondering why you just ghosted him.
Oh no. I know. They've been
No,
super
I can't. I
busy.
think
They
it was
got
right before the launch. I feel like
totally
once the launch happened, once it was on PS Plus, it was like we
craziness.
can't. Yeah, just
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I can chat with Liz and
oh, don't
see
worry
what's up
about
there.
that. All right. All right, Hillary. I think that's a good place to end this
Cool.
portion of the interview. The game is amazing. It sounds like a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
I'm going to
Thank you.
encourage all of our listeners to join myself and Steven in a match or two, because I feel like having a nice community to play it with sounds like a lot of fun. I think that's gonna be in our
We're
very
just like nice Canadians who just
Mhm.
like making cool games. So if you want to check out our super cool
Are there
game and come play with us,
do
that'd be really great.
Do not nice Canadians exist?
Yeah.
There are some, right? I've
Yeah.
met none, and I've met many.
So it depends on where you go. I've spent a lot of my adult life living in the city of Toronto, and I would
Mhm.
say, people are nicer there than maybe New York City, but they're still not like if you go to Halifax, where the team who made Sentience is from, that is the nicest city on earth. It's just everybody's so kind, and I'm getting into my Canadian accent while I talk about Canada,
Yeah,
but
I've been hearing a little bits and pieces come through.
sorry.
No, no, it's
Sorry.
totally fine.
I had to
don't
say the sorry because I'm
don't
Canadian, right?
don't hide who you are. Just
I know.
let it all come out.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Speaking about who you really are, Hilary, it
Yes.
is time for rapid fire.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy. Now listen, I always love learning about a game, how it came to be, what it's about, what makes it tick, and all those fun details. But I feel like this portion of the interview is always more fun for obvious reasons because
I'm
I
excited.
learn more about you, and the responses we get on this portion sometimes are just, I should charge for this segment is what I'm saying.
If it's a free-to-play podcast, this is the part that you monetize, right?
Exactly. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes. Okay. Would you rather be able to speak any language or communicate with animals?
Communicate with animals.
Mm, mm. It is, let's say it's 2 a.m. and your fiance gets a phone call and he says, you know, um, you've been arrested for a crime. What is the crime that you've committed?
Oh, all I could think of is like the scam callers that call you from well, here in Canada, the CRA, you're going immediately to jail.
Are
So
you
it would
running
probably be
some
that.
sort of like
No,
some
it's
underground like your social security has been compromised. Please call this
yeah.
number and give us 5 grand so you don't get arrested in 10 minutes.
I would say it would probably be something associated. My background is Irish with drinking whiskey and
Mm,
then
I see.
something along those lines. Yeah.
I see. Gotcha.
That
Yeah, I
would
like
have been in my youth a little bit more
I
though.
I like you more than I did 10 minutes ago. Okay, great. Let's
Amazing.
um what do you get the most compliments about?
Like I immediately wanted to go to physical, but
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite compliments is when people tell me I'm intelligent and capable.
And you are.
Thank you.
You really
I
you really are.
appreciate that.
Speaking about nice Canadians who aren't sociopaths, when you're getting dressed and you're going about your day and you have your
Yes.
socks and your shoes beside you, do you put them on sock, shoe, shoe, or sock, shoe, sock, shoe?
Sock, sock, shoe, shoe.
All right. All right. Another non sociopath confirmed. We'll find one day on the show. I swear to God. And then we'll call the police immediately. We got
Well,
them. They're here.
I feel like I put on my socks in my bedroom and then I'll walk to the door to put on my shoes.
Ooh, that's allowed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the dumbest way you've ever injured yourself?
Oh. I was running an event for a bank here in Canada,
Mhm.
and I used to work in event marketing. And we set up giant foosball, like human foosball thing, like a blow up foosball arena,
Okay.
and we go to colleges around Canada, and people would play as foosball, like the people on the rods or whatever, and they have to hold on to it and kick the ball or whatever. And at one point, I was standing and I was refereeing, and someone threw me a ball, and I jammed my finger on it, and I fractured my finger. That is the stupidest way I've hurt myself.
All right. All right. Now, just to play off that question,
Mhm.
what is something you have done that should have killed you?
Hmm. That is a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You were like, something happened and you were like, oh shit, like I could have just died.
I could have died.
How did I not get killed? Like when this thing happened to me.
Oh gosh. All I can think of is like back when I was in college or university, drinking whiskey.
I was
That's
gonna
all I
say,
can
I
think
bet you
of.
whiskey is involved.
Yeah, I don't really drink whiskey that much anymore.
Mm-hmm. For obvious reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Is is cereal a soup?
See, I've debated this
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because soup can be cold and hot. You
Mm.
can get cold borscht
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
hot borscht and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of it, no.
Mm-hmm.
But really, if you're looking at a category, yes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. See, you are intelligent. There it is.
Thank you. I'm just
uh
overcomplicating it, I think.
right.
Yeah.
This is a fun question, I feel, because you have the Canadian background. We've spoken to a lot of developers in Canada, so I'm eager for this response. Would you rather have edible spaghetti hair that regrows every single night? So if you
Okay.
eat it, cut it, it's still gonna grow back. Or would you rather sweat maple syrup?
Edible spaghetti hair. Because I feel like if you sweat
Oh.
maple syrup when you work out, it's just going to be so sticky.
See, I think you're the first Canadian
Really?
to go the spaghetti route. Yeah, I have to check our numbers and our figures here at the home base, but
Yeah.
I think that's it.
No, I think I gotta be unpatriotic on that one because like when I work out, I hate the sticky sweat anyways, but to make it
Mm-hmm,
like sugar sweat, like sugar from a
mm,
tree sweat, I don't know, man.
mm. Okay. Just to go back to your whiskey days, let's
Mm-hmm.
say, you know, some months from now, Sentience gets like, I don't know, a huge let's say the Among Us effect happens to Sentience like a year from now, and it
Mm-hmm.
blows up
Yeah.
monumentally, and you guys are all out celebrating, drinking all the whiskey you can get your hands on. What word best describes you when you're drunk?
All of my friends say that I act sober when I'm drunk. So
Does that mean you act drunk when you're sober?
no, but like
Are you
I guess
drunk
I'm
right
just
now?
mm, on light? No, I don't want to make that joke. No, all of my friends say that like when I'm drinking, like I'm like, yeah, like I'm like been drinking, I'm really drunk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's like, you don't seem drunk. You seem quite sober.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I maybe back in the day, I might have been a little bit of a disturber of the peace.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess a sober type of drunk. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Let's see. Let's ask a question that's more in line with the game itself. Oh,
Cool.
okay. So let's say you could pick from two dystopian sort of futures where we have a robot sort of takeover going on. Let's say you could go with a Terminator style where it's like we launch all the nukes and everyone gets destroyed
Hmm.
and it ends us all. Or we have like robot overlords that run our lives and we're just slaves to do their bidding. Which one? Which would you rather live
Wouldn't you be
between the two?
slaves in both?
I
Like,
mean,
oh,
I feel like in the first scenario, it's
hmm,
most of
you're
us are
destroyed.
gone,
Yeah.
and then the remains are just like underground trying to survive, to rebel, and then
I think this is the hardest question
oh my god,
because neither of those are good
I
outcomes and
know.
neither of them are preferable. But I would say Terminator.
Okay.
Yeah, because Sarah Connor, I just want to be Sarah Connor. Let's be
Yeah,
honest
and
with
I'm sure you,
ourselves.
yeah, you'd find one immediately
Yeah. Yeah,
in the pack.
totally. I was at one company voted the most likely to survive a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, Let's get into that.
Uh,
What character traits do you say do you have that made that an obvious choice for you? What is it? Are you like, do you have survival instinct? Do you like a MacGyver gene in you that can make shit out of other shit? What
um, not really. I mean, I'm pretty. I don't panic very easily. I'm a
ah.
pretty good problem solver. I'm totally shit at gardening, so it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be that. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it would be being very resourceful and thinking on the fly and just surviving, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that was it. And I think at that time I was like running marathons and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Do you ever like watch a zombie flick and you were like, oh, don't do that. Like you're doing it all wrong.
Totally. Totally. But then I'm obsessed with like Resident Evil
Mhm.
and I've just been watching Sweet Tooth on Netflix recently, which isn't
Oh,
zombies, but
okay.
like apocalyptic dystopian
Mm-hmm.
society and stuff. And I'm like, don't. I'm always like sitting there. I'm like, don't do it. But meanwhile, when I play like, sorry, I just hit my mic. Whenever I play like Resident Evil or anything like that, I'm that idiot who panics when Mr. X is running up behind me and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm freaking out. It's not even a real scenario. So
Do you like it more when it leans into horror Resident Evil or more into the action?
the first Resident Evil that I like really got into was
Mhm.
Resident Evil 5.
Oh
And I
wow.
really enjoyed Resident Evil 5. And
Full blown action in that one.
I played the crap out of the game and Chev is amazing. And I love
Hmm.
when Chris punches boulders. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean when you
Um,
have like cantaloupe for biceps.
yeah, absolutely. Goals, right? Goals. Um, um, I am a baby at horror, so I like the action because then I'm not like like a sitting crybaby the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the creepiness and the horror kind of vibes at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a very diplomatic answer, that both,
Hmm.
but
I get it.
I
I
would
get
say
it.
probably more so the action because then I can actually
Yeah.
play it
You
and
like
not be
feeling,
spooky.
empowered and
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
What is something that you're terrible at but you wish you could do well?
What am I terrible at? I wish I could do well at. I'm terrible at playing team sports. And
Mm,
it's not the fact that I'm not good and not athletic, because, like I said, I would survive the zombie apocalypse,
of
apparently.
course. Yes.
It's the fact that I have this crushing social anxiety that I'm not going to do as well as everyone else,
Oh my
or they're going
god.
to hate me because I didn't make that shot or whatever else. I wish that I was better equipped to do team sports because I would love to play team sports as much as I could. But
I just feel like you were the voice inside a little high school me that would
yeah,
always dread like when the team sports was part of the day.
yeah,
And I was like, I'm gonna suck, and this
yep,
guy's gonna yell at me for no
yep.
reason because I didn't make a basket or I don't know how to dribble properly.
Volleyball is terrible. Why is the net so high?
I know.
Yeah,
Why can't I hit a ball? Why is it going the other way?
totally, totally. I wish I was better at calming that voice
Hmm.
inside my head and then I
Hmm.
could play sports again.
Hmm. What is a body part you wouldn't mind losing?
Hmm. Like, okay, so like if I said like my shoulder or something like that, do I still get my arms?
Oh, how would that work? Is it like
Yeah.
attached like right to your neck, like it's coming out? Like,
Yeah.
oh, interesting.
Maybe I don't want to go with that because then that would be
I'm
very
just
weird.
I'm just trying to imagine what that would feel like. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah. No, I don't want that. Um,
Would you lose both or just the one shoulder to even it out?
yeah, I think I'd even it out if I had any choice. Body part to get rid of and like hair and whatever else doesn't really count because that's not really a body part.
No, it's
Um,
way too easy. I'm talking fingers, limbs, appendages, all that stuff.
oh no.
An ear.
Um, an ear?
Yeah, it would count. It would count.
Let's just do a little Vincent Van Gogh action and I'll go with ear.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All
Let's
right.
do that.
All right, let's see. What's a good one to end on? There's so many fun ones I have here. All right. I feel like I've asked you enough gross questions about maple syrup sweat and crap like that. So let's end on this. If one song could play every time you entered a room,
Mhm.
what song would that be? What is your intro theme?
It's from Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh
It's
wow,
called
an
Merry-Go-Round
anime.
of Life.
Wow,
Mhm.
that is so damn nerdy. I love it.
It's really
So good,
nerdy.
so good, so damn good.
Thank you. That would be like my
God,
first dance at my wedding and all that stuff
wow.
too.
Oh my
So,
God,
yeah.
please send me that video when that happens because
Okay.
you got the fiance, so that's around the corner at some point.
Just waiting for when we can all get together again.
Same here.
Yeah.
So
We'll send each other videos and
yes,
pictures.
funny.
Yeah.
One of my friends last night, she goes, "Are you married yet?" Because we got engaged like I think almost 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I was just like, "It's too hot to get married. What are you talking
It's
about?
true.
It's way
Yeah.
too freaking
September
hot."
maybe.
Yeah. All right, Hillary, you have been incredible.
Thank you.
The game's amazing. Give us
Thank you.
the last minute marketing pitch. Where can we find the game, play the game, Red Meat Games, all the stuff? Go for it.
Awesome. Yeah. So Sentience is free to play on Steam Early Access right now. So you can find us on Steam, just Sentience. And yeah, you can find us on social media on Red Meat Games. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those things /Red Meat Games. And yeah, go check it out. It's a free to play game. Let us know what you think. Join our Discord. We are always open to feedback and reviews and all that stuff. And we just really want to make a great game that people enjoy playing and that they want to keep playing. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you, everybody, and thank you. It was really great chatting with you today,
Oh, of course, of course. Oh, also,
and the fun questions.
oh, but yeah, most definitely. Are you guys going to be at PAX West by any chance?
Good question.
Mhm.
Um, because we're Canadian, it obviously depends on borders being opened and all that kind of
Yes, yes,
thing.
yes.
Um, so TBD. We have talked about it though, and it
Mhm.
may be a possibility that we would be there,
Right.
but
Well,
it's all depending.
please let us know because we're going to be
Yes.
there and I'd love
Oh
to get you a
yeah.
whiskey and to shake your hand and
Amazing.
give you a hug because you are incredible.
Oh, thank you. You
That
too.
that is Sentience. That's going to do it for this week, listeners. Thank you so much for being here. Please check out this game. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to try to rope in some of our listeners in the near future to get a whole
Do it.
multiplayer thing going on. We'll let you know too when that goes down,
Yeah, we
Hillary.
could do like a
We could.
dev and your listeners kind of
Oh boy.
playtime. That'd be
Oh boy.
awesome.
I was going to just watch us play, but now I'm getting that whole like high school anxiety again. Like, oh
Oh
no,
gosh.
they're
So
going to
maybe
be
not.
so much better. No, I'm kidding. No,
No, no.
that sounds like a lot of fun. All right.
Yeah.
Until next time, listeners, thank you. And as always, please be excellent to each other.